The massive transition from physical media to digital delivery was the result of a highly calculated corporate strategy. By the late 1990s, the video rental market was dominated by an incumbent model of thousands of brick-and-mortar stores. This system generated a massive portion of its revenue through customer late fees. In 1997, Reed Hastings and Mark Randolph founded a company built to bypass those physical friction points, starting with the total elimination of late fees. Their initial model utilized an unlimited, flat-fee DVD-by-mail subscription. This approach substituted the expensive real estate of physical retail with the efficiency of postal logistics. The 2002 IPO provided the necessary capital to scale this logistics network across the country. 5 years later, in 2007, the company executed its most significant pivot, moving its core delivery mechanism from physical mailers to digital on-demand streaming. This history defines the creation of a market disruptor, that it does not explain how a mature organization identifies its own vulnerabilities before they can be exploited by the next generation of competitors. This confidential strategy report, prepared by Disruptivity in May 2026, offers a prospective look at a mature and entrenched Netflix. The document serves as a high-level taxonomy, organizing the complex task of strategic evaluation into a 6-part agenda. For a company that has already saturated its primary market, the central analytical challenge is mapping the subtle shifts that lead to future disruption. We will use the report's agenda as a masterclass in building a modern, cascading strategy architecture. Moving from historical disruption into future survival requires the translation of product offerings into rigorous, probabilistic computer simulations. The first phase establishes the company's internal baseline state. Agenda 01 requires an alignment of mission and vision with its primary customer offering. In Agenda 02, the analyst must ground those ideals into a concrete business model and product value proposition. For a streaming giant, the value proposition resides in the frictionless, on-demand delivery mechanism as much as the content library itself. This internal baseline reflects the logic of the 2007 pivot, which redefined the product from a physical disk to a software interface. Before an organization can measure its vulnerability to external forces, it must define exactly what it provides to the market today. The focus shifts outward to external pressures acting upon the foundation. Pestle analysis maps the uncontrollable macroeconomic forces, political, economic, sociological, technological, legal, and environmental, dictating market conditions. Analysts then use Porter's 5 forces to measure specific intensity of industry competition. This phase also includes the crucial mapping of value pools. A value pool analysis identifies which segments of the industry supply chain are accumulating profit rather than just generating revenue. Shifts in market trends and technology can suddenly move these value pools away from legacy players and toward new entrants. Recent market events provide the final stress test, checking these theoretical frameworks against immediate, real-world data. Layer 2 acts as a crucible, testing whether the internal value proposition remains viable against the physics of market saturation. We now narrow the focus to the immediate competitive ecosystem. Agenda 04 utilizes SWOT analysis, though its utility depends on the direct competitive landscape mapped in the previous layer. Pinpointing internal strengths and weaknesses allows analysts to identify specific vulnerabilities against direct industry peers. The market outlook component bridges these findings, extrapolating current competitive metrics into near-term forecasts. By synthesizing external threats with internal flaws, this layer isolates the areas where the company's structural defenses are thinnest. At the apex of the architecture, the framework moves from deterministic tracking to probabilistic predictive modeling. Future scenarios map multiple potential timelines, allowing for strategic planning across various economic and technological variables. A disruption radar provides a critical defense for a legacy pioneer. This radar tracks nascent technologies capable of rendering current streaming models obsolete, just as streaming did to physical media. In Agenda 06, these predictive insights are operationalized through strategy boards. Analysts run simulations, corporate war games that test strategic responses against the identified future scenarios. These simulations provide a rigorous calculation of abstract risks and opportunities before capital is ever committed to a course of action. Strategic progress is then tracked against the outcomes projected by these advanced simulations. Corporate strategy at this level provides the structure necessary to survive a multitude of divergent futures. This methodology functions as a dynamic operational engine rather than a static document. The outputs of the highest-level simulations feed back into the base, informing the evolution of the foundational value proposition. The company's successful navigation of the 2007 pivot illustrates the value of this underlying logic, identifying market shifts early and realigning the product delivery model to meet them. Analyzing a mature market leader requires understanding this ongoing architectural discipline. Organizations born from disrupting legacy models must continuously refine their disruption radars to survive. Modern strategic planning is a continuous wargame, ensuring the disruptor of 1997 does not become the next legacy casualty of the 2020s.